Hey everybody, welcome to History Forge. My name is Taylor Hamlin. We are on week 16 now of our little PBL journey, and this is about the halfway point, so we're getting really fun. Kids are excited. It's a lot. I just got done talking to some students about their research questions. That's kind of where we're at right now. So, the students have gone through secondary sources. They have asked a lot of questions, and so now they're picking out a couple of those questions they really want to work with, and now they're going through the process of making that research question really good. So showing them how to do that's really important to me. The entire research process in itself I don't think is very taught well during school. At least it wasn't for me, and from what I noticed, it's not for a lot of kids. And really just I want to show the students step by step how to do something really nice. And give them time to do it too. I think that's probably the biggest part with research projects is the kids just don't have enough time to really actually learn and understand what a good research question looks like. We think that it should only take a day or two, but in reality it should take a lot more time, and there needs to be a lot of collaboration. Peer editing needs to happen. A lot of students teaching students can happen too. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm going to go ahead and jump into where we're at. Also, let's see, going to last week. So, this is the last week we're on, November 26th. Might be week 15 too, I'm not 100% sure. I know it's hard to keep track. Anywho, we did our semester test on Monday. It went really well. The students took their time with it. They took the time with the discussion. We actually take the semester test. But, for teachers who watch these or anybody who's curious, I do believe that semester testing is a good thing. I think students should learn how to study and accumulate some knowledge. That being said, I don't really focus on the facts and figures. I more focus on skills. So I tell students, these are the skills that you're weak in or strong in throughout these, weeks, and I give them data to prove it and show it. And then I give them resources to get better. So actually today, this is right now December 3rd where I'm at, and the students have actually taken a lot of time figuring out what they actually need to do to get better. So we did that on Monday. Did our semester test discussion. We finished our source analysis. The kids needed to finish that up. I bought books, or I did buy some books, but most of the books came from Rollins Library, and the kids have been reading those. On Tuesday, we did take a common assessment, and that is when students have to take basically it's the same test throughout the year. I give it 3 or 4 times a year, and kids are expected to improve on it. It's the exact same test. So the idea is, at the beginning, they'll fail because they have no idea what the answers are because we haven't studied it. And at the end, they'll pass because they do know the answers because they have learned something in my classroom. And it's just a way for me to kind of measure and prove to, my employers and parents and everybody else that, hey, look, they actually did learn things. So I'm really proud of my kids, how long they took. A lot of the kids, very few of them actually finished, before the bell. Many of them actually were right on the bell trying to get it done, really getting into it, tearing into what a good analysis looks like. So really proud of them for doing that as hard as they did. It takes me a long time to grade, so I'll work on that more tomorrow especially because I have a meeting for it. That's all I really did. So yeah, Monday and Tuesday were kind of bland. Wednesday we got into outlining projects. It's really fun. I'll show you what that link looks like. For parents especially, this will be helpful. This link shows you all of the different categories that we have. So you have 5 categories, 1 through 5 here. And what we did was I showed students how to choose a category based off what's been done before. So students watched some videos, they examined some exhibits, they really looked into what it is to create whatever, these big projects. I was very blunt with students. I said, a lot of you are going to pick the exhibit because it seems easy, but this is not a poster board. This is not something that you've done for another class. This is the first time you've made anything this big, and the expectations for it are very high, and you're given a lot of time to meet those expectations. So the kids really got into what they need to do in order to figure it out. I told them this is kind of the beginning of the chaos because if I go into one, I'll just go into exhibit for example. Each student who picks one, they're all in different categories and they all have a different path, and so here I have steps of what they actually have to do. And I'm constantly reorganizing this. I'll continue to reorganize it with the students. I need to put in some elbow grease into that actually today and tomorrow. But the students are expected to do quite a bit of research and work in these, and it's all very out there as far as what they need to do. So it'll be good, though. I'm very confident the kids will do well. We'll keep on outlining and designing. It's December tends to be the fun part. It finally is the point where we get to create stuff, and I always tell students that I want them to believe in themselves and pick something that they want to do. And so hopefully the students have chosen a project that they'll get to practice a skill that they really want to get to learn, and in the end they'll get some really great value out of it. So we did that. I had some students who had some assignments that they worked on. I'm a big believer in giving time in class for students to redo those mistakes. And yes, they do get behind in certain things, and this thing is my big project. They don't get as much time on the big project, and it's kind of one of those things where the kids who tend to do really good on the Big History Day project, especially during competition, are the ones who have their poop in a group. They're here every day, their homework turned on time, they're ready to learn. Kids who aren't, I tell them, like, hey, I feel bad that you're not keeping up with us, but in the end, it's kind of your fault. And so even the ones who don't, fail in a way, it's a learning moment. And so hopefully they do get some insight out of it too. We reviewed questions that were for our secondary sources. That's what I was talking about. Like, we highlighted secondary source questions, and now we're at the point where we're trying to make those questions better. So I'm really excited to get those done, because once that's done, I can start getting a little more hands-off, because I'm the historian in the room, so I have to really be, over their shoulder when it comes to creating questions and research and all that stuff. Once it gets to into the actual designing of the projects, there are so many resources out there, and honestly, I'm not a pro at making documentaries. I give them resources of people who are, and so really it gives me a chance to be more of a bystander, which is nice because I can take more time to actually just enjoy the job. I can take time to really just be a creative person, or kind of more of a friend to gives them advice and then kind of backs away and sees what they can do. So I do like this part because it's kind of the end of the frustration part, at least for me. And then it kind of gets to be the point where the ball's in their court, because I've taught them all the stuff they need to learn, and I'm going to be there as a guide and source, but at the very end, they have to do it. Thursday, we did a social studies skills discussion. So actually, and again, I always edit these. Sometimes I don't do them. So for this case, did not get a chance to do that. I take notes just because next year, I'll edit these for anybody else who wants them to. We did have some time to develop research questions, so we talked about that. I gave them a couple videos to watch. We didn't do the race videos either, so I can't remember what we did. I don't know. I'll look into that because we did not get a chance to do any of this. Jeez. Oh, well, we tried. So yeah, no, I didn't get a chance to do that stuff. Last week, it was great. It was stressful because we were trying to get the research questions done and an analysis, so maybe we were just working on that. I honestly can't remember. Friday, the kids had to take a mandatory vocab test. I've said this before, I don't allow failure in my classroom. The students have to get a passing grade at least, and so if they did fail their vocab test, they are expected to do it again. I do give them time in class to study and finish, and yeah, they don't get to do some of the more fun things, but I tell them all the time, again, if you come here prepared, if you come here willing to try, you're going to have some time here that's fun, but I don't know, it's hit or miss. Sometimes kids get it, sometimes they don't. All we did was, I remember, so Thursday we reviewed the National History Day categories. I felt like the kids didn't have enough time to do that on Wednesday, so we got more into it. That's right. So I made the kids watch videos on Thursday and Friday about the different kinds, and that's really what we focus on. So next year, Wednesday was kind of a big mistake on my part. Thursday and Friday I got it right, I feel like. So next year I'll kind of back those up a day. And then, again, sorry, it's kind of a scattered week because it was a scattered week last week. I just didn't feel like it went well until I started realizing, why it wasn't, and I rewrote a lot of things. So this will actually look very different. So, if you're a teacher and you're like, God, that's kind of unorganized, it is life, though. A lot of times it is kind of crazy. If you are a teacher, though, that watches or a parent is more curious, I'm going to edit this later. So if you want to watch this video and look at the video description, this link will be in the video description. Feel free to check it out. This week's much more organized. We're already on to it, and I'll talk more about that next week, kind of reviewing the process. So, if you're here for information or sources or resources, please let me know. Feel free to ask me, and I'll be happy to share them with you. I hope everyone has a great rest of the day. You guys take care. Have a good day. Bye.